Sam is outlining a situation where it might have gone by the rules. If there's a tough sentence and the president wants to use their lawful pardon power after the process is played out, a president can do that. That's not what happened here, though. I think it's important for people to understand what happened here, according to a lot of people close to it, is a perversion.
Look, you're not going to get any argument from me that American prison sentences tend to be draconian. That's certainly not something that Bill Barr believes in the abstract. And in fact, he's given speeches lambasting progressive prosecutors. It is only a very specific class of people that Bill Barr seems to believe deserve any sort of mercy or leniency. And I also want to say something about this idea that the witness tampering. There's been a lot of arguments that Randy Credico wasn't really threatened. And I know Randy Credico is somebody I don't know well, but I've known for a long time. He's an anti-prison activist. I first met him when he was an activist against the Rockefeller drug laws.
And just for context, you're speaking about the individual that Roger was convicted of threatening.
Right. So Randy told me before he sent this letter that he felt terrible that someone was going to prison on his behalf and he was going to send this letter. And so that might speak well of Randy, but that has nothing to do with the specific crimes that Roger Stone committed. I have texts on my phone from Randy Credico talking about feeling threatened by Roger Stone's associates. And so, again, I think if you want to say in the abstract, this is too long of a sentence and nobody convicted of these crimes deserves a sentence like that, then fine, get aboard the criminal justice reform train. But the idea that only people who not just have lied for Donald Trump, but might, because of a sentence like this, have some sort of incentive to reveal further crimes that Donald Trump has committed. So I don't think this is just about mercy. I don't think we don't know that this isn't part of even a bigger cover-up.
And I just want to say,
we heard again and again throughout impeachment this Ben Franklin quote repeated endlessly: "A republic if you can keep it."
Yeah.
We are not keeping it.
So let me ask you on that. What does it tell you that this is happening out in the open after the Senate impeachment trial?
I think that Donald Trump has learned his lesson, which is that Republicans have given him complete impunity. The rule of law is breaking down in this country. It would be familiar from anyone who has lived in a country where democracy has given way to authoritarianism. They would recognize exactly what is happening here.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.